set up where we're at today. This is so here we are, right? And I'm sitting here waiting for Brian and Chad, because I think that God has given me a word for them, and they've been a little busy, and you know, I'm running out of time here, so I said, you know, I'm gonna get down here. This message is intended for Parisa, my wife, and for my kids. But if you happen to come across it, you know, it's for you too. To give you guys a little update, you know, and some backstory on where I'm at right now. It's getting pretty dark. The last few years have not been kind to me, and I'm running out of answers, man. I'm running out of hope, man. I'm walking around with this shirt on, you know, but I'm losing hope at a rapid rate, man. Last October, I was engaged, excited, you know, we're gonna start planning our wedding. You know, I was interning as a teaching pastor. Parisa, you know, you were going through your divorce with your husband, and while, you know, that's unfortunate, it really messed me up a lot more than I'm sure you understood, because once I moved past the fact that, you know, you weren't my wife anymore, man, I really wanted that to work out, man. You know, I saw that, you know, the kids got close to Phil, and you know, I was really hoping he wasn't going to be the douchebag that, you know, that I thought he was, you know, from the gate. But, you know, I was hoping he would surprise me, you know, and he didn't. You know, it turns out he was exactly the douche that I said he was, you know. But I saw you in pain, man, and it hurt, and it hurt, you know, to see you in pain. And so that threw me for a loop, you know, and I got, you know, I wish I had answers for you, you know, I wish, I don't have the answers, man. I know that I feel like the way you've been coming at me, man, is because is because you're upset, you know, and you're in pain, and it's hard for us to admit, you know, that we fucked up sometimes, you know, and sometimes we take it out on people who don't have it coming, and people who, you know, not to say that I don't have it coming, but, you know, this kind of came out of left field, man, you know, like I was trying to be there for you, I was trying to support you, and yeah, man, I fly off the handle, I say a lot of stupid shit, man, but I've been working on that, you know, and so you're holding me accountable for what I said when I was, like, severely concussed. Clearly that, you know, if I said what you said, I said, I wasn't in my right mind, and I feel like you should have just identified that, you know, and maybe it's my bad, you know, for assuming that. I haven't talked to my kids in months, you know, and that's like, you know, that's like my kryptonite, man. You know, you want to know the best way to destroy me, right? That's it. I wasn't much before them and without them. nothing, man. I went from being, Timmy's baseball coach and a pastor and interning as a teaching pastor, and you know, engaged and excited about getting married and moving on with the next chapter of my life, and I built a 90-foot batting cage, in your backyard, man, and everything. It wasn't perfect, but it was gonna be all right, And then that little shit just ran up in our house, man, and threw everything for a loop, And then, our best friend died, man. Lynn died, and Danielle just, went off the rails, man. In the last few days, I had to just, walk away from her, That's just, that's a bad situation, and it's getting worse because she doesn't know how to. She doesn't know how to fight back, man. And she let some demonic shit into her life, and I tried to warn her. And now she's just surrounded by a bunch of people that, whatever, man. It's been really painful, But I want to tell you, the reason I'm sending this to you, and you can choose to believe me or not. I would like to think that, at this point, I got nothing to gain by fabricating, stories, out of nowhere. It's not like it explains or justifies any of my behavior, But I need you to come to the conclusion that, like, I either am who I say I am, or or I'm a lunatic, man. And I mean, C.S. Lewis said something along the same lines, of Jesus. He said, he was either the Son of God or he was a madman. But he didn't leave us anything in between. He didn't leave us, the option of being a good prophet or a good teacher, man, because if he was full of shit, then he's full of shit. But if he wasn't full of shit, then, he was who he says he was, then he was the Son of God. And by no means am I Jesus, man, but I mean, like, I'm either a lunatic in all these things that have happened, are just, it's just bad luck. And all the miracles that we've seen, all the things that I've been able, to do, in the name of Christ, and the way God's moved through me, all of that is just a lie. I really who I am, who I say I am, And who I say I am is a servant of God, and who he says I am is a high-ranking officer in the army of the Most High. And I've been under attack, man. So I'm going to tell you, a few visions that, I've had over like the last few years, shit. So you remember, it was like a few years ago, I think it was right before he got married. He sent me an email that said, fucking, you had a dream, right? And this dream, I was somewhere. I wasn't in hell, but, I wasn't here with us, and I was somewhere, and basically, I was watching over you guys, and anytime an arrow would come after you, or anytime something would come after you, I would shoot it down, man. And it's interesting. Yeah, I don't know if I told you this. I was having a series of reoccurring nightmares, man, that I've had for a while. And they were, man, Satan was just going after me, man, like he really leaned on the fact that, like, when I went out there to Waxahachie, I thought, man, I was going to spend the lockdown with you, and if you would remember, the last time I had been out there, you reached to hold my hand, you know, and it kind of like shocked me, and I like withdrew, like wow, you know, and we kind of laughed about it, you know, but we had held hands, you know, and I didn't expect, you know, that we were going to get back together, you know, like I was pretty sure that was, you know, not even a possibility. But I'd be lying if I didn't say, you know, that's the courage that I needed to, you know, pack up my van and drive a few states over, you know. And I know it seems like it took me forever, man, but I mean, like, you might, you know, lag too. If the last time you drove, you know, by yourself over state lines, you had killed somebody and went to prison for it, man. You know, but you told me that you guys didn't have any food and that the stores weren't open and you were hungry. So I got you, you know, like $900 worth of food. You know, packed up my fucking van, you know, and out I went, you know. I didn't know that Phil had moved in with you. And when I got there, you know, I was embarrassed, you know, and kind of shocked, because the whole time driving there, I was just like, man, I just had this idea, man, that like I was gonna get right, and we were gonna, you know, I just had hope that something was gonna happen, and it didn't, you know. And so I went from that to having to rent a room down the street, you know, and sat there and rotted away in that room. Keep in mind, with, you know, all the shit that I'd been dealing with, man, with the Suicide Foundation, with all the people that have died, you know, with all the people that I wasn't able to help, you know, with the family that I felt like I had failed, you know, with the shit that, you know, happened between me and Brad, you know, and then the anger that came when, you know, when he wouldn't even take my calls, man, and he didn't want anything to do with me, man. That really hurt, you know. And I sat there in the room, man, and it just, I was forced to, you know, it just relive my whole life, man, and all my failures up until that point, man, and it just rotted me from the inside out, man, and Satan, man, just went to town. And you know, hopefully you can, you know, have enough compassion to realize, going from, you know, what I thought it was going to be like, you know, to that, you know, that just set me up, man. It set me up really bad to, you know, to just catch an attack like none other, you know. And he attacked my dreams, man. He attacked like everything, you know. And then you went and got the kids baptized without me, you know. And then I found out, you know, about like Danielle and this dude that she was seeing, you know. And it was one thing after another, you know. And I was having these dreams, man. And it sucked because they were, you know, it was like a series of 3 different dreams, right? And one, it's interesting, like, I don't know if you look on social media, but there's this thing going around, right? You know, like, I think it's probably from a movie. This guy, he's riding on his horse, and he's like going up against a whole army by himself, you know, and the archers shoot down his horse, man. He falls off his horse, and he gets up, you know, and there's a whole army coming at him, and they're all on horses, and he's like, fuck you know, and he goes like Davy Crockett style, man, you know. He pulls out his sword and he's like, oh, fuck, you know, this is how we're going to go down, you know. And you know, I don't know if you've seen Davy Crockett, man, but I mean, like, that is an amazing movie. Or, you know, from what I understand, it's not exactly accurate, you know, like not the most accurate depiction of Davy Crockett, but, you know, and Disney did a good job, I'm sure. But at the very end, you see, you know, like, hey, the Spanish army has, you know, infiltrated the Alamo, and they busted down the walls, and like they're coming in, man. and you don't see him die, right? We know that Davy Crockett died in the Alamo, you know, but what you see is a man like he knows the end, you know, is coming, and it's coming right now, right? And you just see him, you know, boom, you know, wham, wham, you know, and he's just lighting fools up, dude, you know, like he's going down, but he is taking like 16 dudes with him, right? I always like that. I always thought that was cool. I just want to be like Davy Crockett, man. I feel like I could take a bear. I'll go run for help. Whether you fight the bear, I'll go get help. Right? So the first vision, you know, I'll go backwards. It is like, you know, I ended up in a war, right? And I'm there with God, you know, and I'm there with Jesus, right? And he's like, I gotta go. You gotta hold it down for me, Randy. And I'm like, what? Like, what do you mean? Like, where are you going? And he's like, oh, I'll be back for you, I promise. You know, and I'm like, don't leave me. Like, don't fucking. He says, Randy, you trust me? And I'm like, are you fucking kidding? You know? I followed him my whole life, you know, and everything that I thought I knew was like ass backwards. And I'm like, do I trust you? Like, fuck, man. Yeah, man, I guess. He's like, Randy, do you believe me? I'm like, yeah. He's like, do you believe I would never forget you? I would never forsake you. I would never leave you behind. Right? And I'm like, okay, you know? And he's like, I will be back for you. And I'm like, all right, man, you know, if you say so, I'll hold it down for you. Right? So that's one of them, you know, and, you know, it's like God's promise to me, you know, like, weather the storm, hold the fort down. It's like, you know, like he's like, it's like he said, like, you know, like at any cost, Randy, no matter where you are, what you're doing, or like what condition you're in, hold this house down. I'm like, fuck. Okay, he's like, no matter how bad it gets, just know I'll be back for you. Can you do that for me? Can you hold it down for me? I said, God, what if I'm fucked off, man? And he's like, I don't care. Just hold it down. You know? You know how many people I've talked to that have told me that if I wasn't sober, if I wasn't, you know, like right with God, you know, like then I couldn't do his work. Like, what a fucking lie that is, man. What a lie from the pits of hell. When I put my hands on Hunter, when she was supposed to die that night, and then she showed up that Christmas on my doorstep and said, you know, here I am, you know, I was strung out of my mind. When I went to the hospital for Rowan, you know, I was pissed off at God, man, you know, and I spent a few weeks there, man, fasting in the chaplain's court. I was strung out of my mind then. When I marched my kids into the darkest pits I could find and declared it holy ground. I said, this is God's country. Strung out of my mind, you know. I think God likes that, you know. He doesn't like that I was strung out. But he, you know, he can use that. You know, you look in the Bible and you see like the most unlikely of heroes, man. It's like, you know, Moses had like a stuttering problem, you know, like and Moses told God no, you know, like, hey man, you see like God, you know, in the, you know, in a bush, right, and it's on fire, right, and you recognize that as the creator of the heavens and the universe, and he's talking to you and he's telling you to do something, you know, would you have the balls be like, no. 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 Not me, bro. No. Hell no. You want me to do what? No. That's what Moses did. You know? You look at Abraham, the father of our faith. I don't know what's so great about Abraham, dude. Abraham whored out his wife. Not once, but twice. I never whored you out even once. Consider that. You know? Is that righteousness counted towards me? I don't know, man. But I mean, like, the father of our faith, you know, like, was so faithless that he whored out his wife so that he wouldn't die. I'm not saying, man. I'm just saying. Just saying. But if there's anything that could be said about me, you know, it's that, you know, no matter my condition, no matter what, you know, is going on, and no matter how bad I am, you know, you will never hear a story of you know, where I turned my back on God, you know, or when, you know, it came time, you know, to speak on the Lord, you know, that I didn't drop everything, no matter what condition I was in, you know, and say, here I am, Lord. What's left of me, at least. Yeah, I think He likes that about me. You know, there's a joke that I used to share, you know, like, it's like I'd ask God, why me? You know, surely there are more qualified individuals in this world, man. Surely there are, you know, people much better than me, you know, that could accomplish this and do it with like a lot less mess, you know. Why? You know? And He tells me, like, yes, Randy, you are correct. Indeed, there are so many more qualified people. And I'm like, hey, you know. And He's like, no, really, like, there are, man. Like, I mean, like, you make a mess of damn near everything freaking I tell you to do. And I'm like, shit, man. You know. And He's like, man, I you know, I call those people too. But you're the only one that answers. As a matter of fact, you answer every time, Randy. Every time I call on you, I know I can count on you. Those other guys, man, they're a lot more qualified than you, man. But I mean, they're too busy for me. You know, they're too afraid to get their hands dirty. You know, they want to do a food drive, but they don't want to walk in the pit and hand it to somebody. I don't need their clothes. I need somebody that's gonna go hand it to somebody, give them a hug, and tell them that I love them. That's what you'll do. That's what they want. And I call on you because you answer every time. If that's all I can count, you know, is righteousness to me, man, I'll take it. You know, yes, it has taken me 4 years, you know, 5 years now, just to get started on my master's program. You know, and yes, and I'm like 5 years away from, you know, completing it. Hey, but here I am, you know, still trying to, you know, get into Dallas Theological Seminary, right? You know, and I mean, it's been a long journey, but I mean, I give a fuck. I gave up a 6-figure career to do this. I gave up a 6-figure career to, you know, serve God. You know, like we were living in an $800,000 house, man. You know, and I just don't see how anybody can read the same book, right, that we read, right? I don't see how anybody can read this thing, you know, and respond any other way, you know? Like, it literally tells you to drop everything and follow me. And I'm like, okay, you know, why isn't everybody else doing that? I don't know. Maybe not everybody's called to be a pastor, but I mean, like, I don't know, man. I don't think God wants to be, you know, like a part of, like, you know, your life. You know, you don't want to be, you know, a part of your busy schedule, man. He wants all of it, man. And I'm not saying anything about anybody else, man. I'm just saying that that's what I read. But he told me to hold it down at all costs, man. And that's okay, right? Next vision. I'm like in a dungeon. I'm in like this kind of circular room, and there's a door in that room, but it's pitch black. If I can get out that door, there's light on the other side. Like, you know, it's like I'm in a parallel universe, and I'm stuck there, man, and I can't get out. And there's a bunch of demons in there, right? And they're just like, you know, like, because I can't see them. You know, I'm trying to like, you know, I'm trying to like get my eyes to adjust, you know, but they'll just come by and they're like, you know, they got claws and they're like ripping they're biting at me, dude. And I'm just getting beat up more and more. And you know, and it's a shitty fucking dream, man. It's like one of those dreams, man, where you're trying to fight, you know, and you know, you're not able to because you can't see what you're supposed to be fighting, right? You know, you're swinging, but you're like swinging at the air, right? And every time you swing, they're like, right? It's like every once in a while, I get to a point where I'm able to like, you know, get out that door. You know, finally like get my hand on the handle. And there's like a voice, you know, that's like, hey, are you forgetting something? Right? And then I realized that like you and the boys are still in there, man. You know, like you guys went in looking for me or something. Somehow you guys are still there. And for me to leave without you is for me to condemn you, you know, to that place forever. And so I'm like left with the choice, like you can leave, right? You know, hey, there's a door, you found it, you know, but you're leaving them behind. So I gotta close the door, and I go back in, you know, and each time I just get a little bit more defeated every single time, and you know, I get a little bit more scared, you know, and it's just like, you know, I stop swinging, man, you know, and I just getting beat up, and I'm like, fuck, right? And that went on for a long time, man. You know, I'd wake up every day, you know, in a pool of sweat and just terrified, right? And somewhere along the lines, you know, like not too long ago, there was a conclusion to that, you know. I do that, you know, a bunch of times, you know, and I'm fighting, you know, these demons, and I'm getting tired, you know, and I finally find the door one more time, you know, and I hear the same voice, you know, and he's like, you know, you going somewhere, you know, and it's like he's reminding me, you know, that I ain't going nowhere, you know, that he's got me, you know, and as I'm closing the door, you hear some laughing, like kind of like giggling, you know, like little boys giggling, right? And you hear Daniel's voice echoing from, you know, way high up. He's like, look what we have here, right? And he turns on a light, you know. There's a big light, and they're on like the rafters, like way high up, man. You can like barely see them, you know. And they turn the light on, right? And I look around, and now all these demons, like they've stopped, and they're looking at me like oh fuck, you know. And as I close the door, I lock it behind me, you know. And now it's my turn, right? And I just start ripping them to shreds, you know. It like the last thing you see is Daniel, Dylan, and Timmy, and they're up there. They're like, "Whoa, yeah, get him, Dad!" Whoa, right? And one's like, you know, going up, and he's like reaching up. He's trying to get away, dude. And they're like, "Wow, dude!" They're like just smacking him right back down, you know, and I'm pulling them back down, you know, and I'm just, you know, because I could see them now, you know. It was one thing, man. They could mess me up because I couldn't see them. I couldn't, you know. I had no idea where they were coming from, you know. But when they turned the lights on, it wasn't even a fight, you know. They got their ass kicked. And I mean, like, you can, I think that's fairly, you know, simple to, like, you know, to decipher and to try to, you know, see, you know, the symbolism behind that, you know. I'm not sure why it was the boys that took, you know, to turn the lights on, but I mean, I'm sure somebody much more skilled at interpreting dreams can explain that one to me, you know. But I'm not afraid of those motherfuckers anymore. I'll tell you what. I know you are. I know you swear that I am the commander of the demons, and that I, you know, command demons to your house, is what you told me one time, because I, you know, spent half the night begging Chantelli to, like, anoint the place because I felt like there were demons coming to your fucking house. And then magically the next day, without even knowing that I was in contact with Chantelli, Daniel sees a demon, right? And then you get mad at me when you're like, hey, like, what do I do? And I tell you what to do, and you get mad at me, you know. I don't know when you're gonna fucking listen, you know. I think it would be, you know, your life would be a lot better if you just listened to me, right? So that's the second vision. But the third one, man, is the one that, you know, there hasn't been a happy conclusion. And it's getting dark, man. So there we are, right? And there's a group of us, and it's like Chad and Renee and Jesse and Brian and Megan and you know, there's, you know, a lot of people from, like, Rock Harbor. There's, like, Aaron, and you guys have all come into that, like, kind of parallel universe, and on, like, a rescue mission, right? And you found me, and we are, like, you know, we're on horses and walking, but we're heading, you know, towards, you know, whatever the fuck it is, but it's like, you know, the gateway to, like, back here to the real world, right? And we're almost there, right? And we're traveling as a group, right? And it's like, you know, there's joy, right? And we're happy, right? And it's like there was a victory, right? And you know, like, maybe you guys found me, you know, and we're like, we're about to get out, right? And Renee turns her horse and just starts flying as fast as she can in the opposite direction. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, where's she going? You know? And I look, you know, and she's going after Timmy. Because Timmy's pretty far back, and he's also going the opposite direction, right, on his horse. And you look beyond him, and he's going after, like, a buddy, like a little friend, you know. And I've never known who it is that he was going after, but somebody fell off, you know, and was down on the ground, you know, and Timmy was going after him to help him. And you look at the horizon, and the sky is, like, filling black, right? And there's, like, you know, there's an army, legions of demons that are coming over the hill, right? And they're coming fast, right? And it's like, you know, there's this kid, and you got Renee, you know, here, and Timmy here, and freaking this kid here, and like, you know, and then just this, like, wave of demons, like, you know, hundreds of millions of them, you know, and they're coming, right? And I'm like, oh fuck, right? And so I start going after them, you know, and fucking Timmy, man. Timmy gets there first, right as, like, you know, the first wave of demons shows up, and Timmy all of a sudden goes from being like little Timmy to like a fucking warrior, man. And then he flies off his horse, you know, um, and he's like Yoda, dude. Like, you ever seen Yoda like fight? Like, do not fuck with Yoda, but he's like bing, 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 bing. And he's like what, and he is just busting these demons up, dude. Like fucking them up, dude. And and it's crazy, man. Like, he's like, he's got power, he's got might. I mean, he's just like, hey, there is no junior Holy Spirit in Timmy, dude. Like, that fucker is full grown, right? And Timmy's busting him up, and Renee comes in behind him, because like, as he's busting up like the front line, like, more demons start to like circle, and they start to surround him, right? And Renee's just like, with a flick of her wrist, she's like and fucking like knocking out like 100 fucking demons with without any effort at all, right? And finally Timmy rolls up on like the commander of the demons, right? And he's an ugly motherfucker, and Timmy's been like just knocking the fuck out of everybody, but this guy just bitch slaps him down like hard, right? And Timmy suddenly like stops going from like being a warrior, and he gets off the ground, but you could tell like he's afraid now. Like, he knows he he's no match for this guy, and he goes after him anyways, and the guy the guy just treats him like a little kid, like just bam, and like slams him into the ground, dude, and now Timmy's bleeding, and Timmy gets up, and his sword is broken, and the commander, goes to like finish him off, and Renee gets in between, and she's got her sword at his throat, and she's like, take one more step, motherfucker, see what happens. But he ain't afraid, he's like, take a look around, you bitch, and we look around, and there's just demons, man, and they've circled everywhere, and then you just hear, like, the gruff of a fucking horse, like, and you see Timmy, and Timmy's like standing guard over his buddy, like, he's like standing there, trying to look tough, but he looks up, and like, like the smirk, right? Hey, you say you've seen it on me and Dylan, and Timmy does it just as well as anybody else, man. That little smirk, like, like, and everybody looks up, and I'm standing there in the background, and I'm on my horse, and my eyes are like fire, like they're burning, and I'm looking at Timmy, who's all bleeding, busted up, and you feel like the fear, you feel like the demons are like, fuck, right? And I don't know if you've ever seen a video of the atom bomb being dropped, but there's like a blip, right? It's not like boom, it's like beep, and everything's decimated in just a matter, and my eyes are just burning, and I'm like, ah! It's like, beep, and it just wipes out everything in sight. Like, all the demons that fucking were even standing there, dude, and there's a lot to unpack there, but I mean, God bless Timmy, dude, because Timmy would leave the safety of everybody else to go after that kid, man. That, he would put, like, he didn't even question, like, he just put his life on the line, like, I give a fuck if you're going down, we're going down, because you're my friend, I just recently made, that Father's Day video about Daniel and Dylan, because like sometimes you just gotta do that, man. Sometimes you gotta like single them out, man. But it's not to take anything lightly about Timmy. It's just Timmy. Timmy will have his day where there'll be so many stories about Timmy that we won't even be able to categorize them all. But I always thought that was the happy ending, right? And that I had decimated like all the fucking demons, but it wasn't, man, because coming over the hill, it's like they were just infinite, man. They're there's more. There's more coming for us. Except now we only have one horse. We got like Timmy's horse, which isn't even like a big horse. It's like, it's not like a little pony, but it's like, it's like a smaller horse. And Renee's up there, and they got like the kid that he went after up there, and Timmy can barely fit on, and it's clear, man, that we can't all fit on that horse, dude. And I look at Renee, and she's got tears in her eyes, and I'm like, fuck, man, And I put Timmy up, and Timmy's like, I'm not leaving without you. And I'm like, yes, you are. And he gets mad. He tries to get off, and he refuses. He starts crying. He's like, no, I'm not leaving you. I say, yeah, you are. And I give him a big hug. And I strap him in, like right in front of Renee, and I just kind of look at her. I say, go. And they take off, man. And I'm sitting there wondering, like, what the fuck was the point of that then? Like, everybody came down to, like, rescue me, only to leave me here alone. Like, why am I always left alone? Why? People swear that I like being alone, man. I don't like being alone, dude. I grew up in fucking juvenile hall, man, in a one-man cell for 23 and a half hours a day. I don't like fucking being alone. And so there I am. As the legions of demons are bearing down on me, and we're like standing, everything kind of went down next to this like little kind of like Spanish mission, it's like this kind of two-story, like kind of like adobe kind of deal, and I'm standing there, and I'm like, fuck it, let's do this. And they're coming after me. And the whole army's coming after me, man, and it sucks, man, because like the thing that's going around on social media is like some guy, and he's standing there, and he's about to take on this whole army, but then at the last second, like everybody like just rushes in behind him, but that's not the way that this vision goes, This vision, is me fighting, and taking on just like millions of demons, right? And the fight, wages on, right? And I'm holding them off, because I'm trying to give you guys enough time to get the fuck out of there. And I kind of retreat into the mission, right? And somehow, in a weird thing, like it's the same mission, where Jesus was talking to me, and he was like, hey man, hold it down for me. And I'm like, fuck, and I'm just getting backed into the corner, man, and I'm taking a lot of them out, man, but like they're getting to me, man, and I realize, makes me think of, like Davy Crockett, man. That's like, once they breached, maybe that's why I thought, like a little Spanish mission, you know. It's like, it's clear, like the end, the end is here, man, And all I have to do is get down on one knee and surrender, and it will all stop, But they know that's not going to happen. They know that, I've already sold out, man. Hey, Jesus is king, motherfuckers. Right? I got no problem going down. I got no problem going down swinging, man. I got, they don't scare me. I'm heartbroken. Because as I'm going down, man, I realized, man, he never came back for me. And I think sometimes we misunderstand things, man, and they, like the disciples thought he was going to come back for him, for them too. Like they all thought, like in their lifetime, like he was going to come back. And he is going to come back. But I don't think it's going to go the way that I thought it was going to go. And I might go down swinging, man. But I'm going down, man, Like if somebody doesn't fucking do something. I see everybody's hearts just get hardened, and I'm really like reaching out to people for help, man. I'm like, please help. You wouldn't believe this shit that people say, man. Some people just say, hey, man, just go fucking kill yourself, dude. You piece of shit. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck did I ever do to you? I just asked you for help. Why would you say that? And I know why. It's the same reason, man, that you've been the way that, like that you filed fucking, to take the kids out of my life, man. It's the same reason Danielle flipped the script, and went from like, wanting to marry me to like hating me and doing all this other shit, man. Like I see it, man. Like it's weird though. I'm the only one that seems to see, like I can see clear. As fucked off as I may be. As much as you think that I'm a fraud, man, I fraud you. I'm still a warrior, for God, and on Good Friday, man, I left the hospital and I went and I said, God, I'm not worthy, but, I will raise this kid to know and love you, and if I could do that, maybe, maybe you could give me a break and let me in heaven too. Daniel's almost 18. I don't think God makes deals like those, man, but I did my job. When you left, you were saying some vile shit. And if you remember, when you came back, man, I had the kids for, a little bit by myself. And your life was in the shitter. And it was clear that, Satan, had gotten a hold of you, man. And I was pissed, because I wasn't sure. I always felt like you were on the outside looking in, man. And that you wanted to be a Christian. You wanted to accept Jesus, man. But, I mean, like, it just hadn't happened for you yet, And as long as you were married to me, like, like the Bible says, like, like my faith will save you, because we're one flesh, we become one person, right? But by you declaring that is not true anymore, that, you are not one flesh with me, like we were now at an impasse, right? I was worried that Satan was coming after you, man. And I sent him an email. I copied Aaron and I copied Renee on it. I talked a lot of shit, dude. I told him, like, you little punk bitch, coward, motherfucker. Like, hey, come after me, you know? You go after my wife because you couldn't get to me, you know? And Renee yelled at me for what I tried to do. I don't even know if what I tried to do was even like, I don't even know if you're, you know, it's valid or not, because, you know, who knows? She got mad at me, you know, she's like, you cannot play games like that, you know? But what I try to do, you know, is trade my place for yours. Because I knew where I stood, you know? Hey, there's no question, you know, whose team I'm on, you know? But if there was any doubt, then I said, hey, let me trade places with her, you know? And ever since then, you know, I've seen the trajectory of your life, you know, go up. I've seen, you know, a lot of people from the church, you know, rally around you, and you know, fuck, man, a lot of people did not rally around me. You know, like I feel like I've been abandoned. You know, and I mean, like, I've just seen nothing but misery and despair and fucking pain and pain and pain. You know, but true to what I said, man, like, you know, I've held my ground, no matter how dark it's gotten, you know, till my dying day, my last breath will say Jesus is King, motherfuckers. I don't know if what I did was even legit. I mean, like, I don't even know if my soul was, you know, up for grabs, or if I could trade it, you know. It sure feels like it did. There was a point, you know, right before you got married, I woke up at Danielle's and I felt like I was being choked from the inside, you know, and I felt like I was being, you know, strangled. And I told her to call 911, and I had her call Renee, I had her call Brian, I had her call Chad, you know, I said, please, somebody come get me, you know, and they didn't know what was going on, you know, but I figured you know, like, somebody would come get me. And so I, like, kind of, I knew I had to get out of the condo, and I had to get out to the street, so that if somebody did come get me, like, you know, they'd be able to find me, you know, faster. And I got halfway out to the street, man. The same voice, man, you know, hit me up, man. He was like, hey, you sure you want to make that deal, kid? You know? And it was like, you know, it wasn't like my life flashed before my eyes. The last 5 years flashed before my eyes. And I realized that, you know, it wasn't enough that he took my life. He wanted me to suffer. He wanted me to sit there and watch you fall in love with another man. He wanted me to see firsthand, have a front row ticket to my kids, calling somebody else dad, you know, and living out our dream in our ranch, you know, with somebody else. You know, he wanted me to feel alone, you know, like everybody fucking abandoned me. He wanted me to know that the woman that I put my life on the line for not only didn't give a fuck about me, but I married somebody else, and, you know, he wanted me to fucking, you know, rescind my deal. You know, I think he really thought, you know, because I think Satan knows a lot. You know, I think he's really smart. He's a lot smarter than us. I don't think he can see the future. I don't think he knows for sure. He just knows human behavior. And I think he really thought if he could do enough to me, and then say, hey, man, look, this is the chick that you really want to fucking save, right? That I'd be like, yeah, fuck her, dude, you know? Fucking go get her, you know? I think he really thought that. Which, I mean, like, you would think he'd be smarter than that, you know? Because I'm stupid. I gave him the same response I gave you when you tried to separate yourself from me, you know? Not in a million fucking years. Not in a million years would I give up my wife. Not in a million years would I hand her over to you. I don't give a fuck what she done to me. You know? And with my last breath, as I was like laughing, right? Because I was in my head, I was picturing, I'm like, fuck me, I'm gonna go to hell right now. And I'm like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go to fucking hell. I'm gonna tell everybody about Jesus, dude. I'm gonna walk these motherfuckers out the back door for all of eternity. That motherfucker don't want me in hell, right? I will fucking lead a mutiny. You know? Can't do shit to me. I'm already saved. My soul isn't up for grabs. Right? And so I was like laughing, you know, kind of like a madman. You know, and I felt like my throat was like closing up, man. And you know, with my last breath, I shit you not, on everything that's right. On our kid's head, man, with my last breath, I say, Jesus is king, motherfucker, come get me. Right? And then I fell out, you know, for a while. I think it was like an hour, I think, you know, and I came to, and I was convinced I was dead. And I walked back into like Danielle's apartment, and I thought it was like some kind of like, you know, the movie Ghost or something, some shit like that, where I'm like, no, like only you can see me, you know. It was weird. It was stupid. But I really thought that, you know, because there was a lot of weird shit going on. It was like the wind was blowing like it was like crazy, man, and it felt like the house was gonna blow over. And the door was open. There was a tassel hanging there, but the tassel was still, and the tassel was not blowing, right? And I'm like, oh, you know, whatever. The parking lot was empty, completely empty. This was a Saturday, and she's in a condo, one of those condos where, like, you know, they got like, you know, 200 condos and freaking 50 parking spots. So the parking spot, you know, and it was all empty, and all you could hear in the background was like these garbage trucks, right? Which garbage trucks don't come on Saturdays, right? But you could hear them. They're like. Right, and freaking, it was like, you know, and the wind was blowing, and it was just crazy. We literally woke up her son. We woke up Ryder, right? And we were like, hey man, can you see me? Right? And I mean, they have a loft, right, where he was, where he slept, you know, and we literally woke him up, right? Because I was like trying to convince her. I'm like, dude, I'm dead, dude. You know, like this is, you know, this is how it is, you know, like, and. You know, I fucked up, you know, and, you know, I'm going to spend all of eternity trying to convince Danielle that I'm fucking dead, you know. I was like, this truly is hell. You know, luckily Ryder was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Can you see me? He's like, yeah. All right, go back to bed. I'm not making any of this up, dude. On my life, dude, I would not lie about this shit. So what does that mean? You know, like all these cool stories that have me as like the hero in them, right? You know, like in fucking, I mean, if you're gonna paint a picture, you know, I've always said, man, the biggest, you know, thing we do as humans, man, is we paint ourselves sometimes as a victim, right? And as a villain, you know, and very rarely do we, you know, paint ourselves, you know, as the hero. But I mean, like, that's how God sees us, right? God sees us as heroes, you know, that heroes that needed to be saved. And he saved us, you know, but when he saved us, like, he made us heroes, right? He gave us the same power that originates in him, man, the Holy Spirit, man. Like, he is able to conquer anything, and he passed that on to us so that we can fight these battles, right? And we can, you know, we could be those heroes, man. That's the only, you know, that's the only explanation that I have as far as, you know, that, you know, like, I don't mean to sound self-righteous. I'm sure, like, if somebody else was having, you know, visions and dreams and stuff like that, you know, they would be a hero too. You know, I mean, I think the real hero is Timmy, you know, Timmy Bobby, of course, you know, they fucking way to steal the glory, Timmy, you know, But it's like a victory, man. I mean, like, I feel like God was just trying to, like, you know, encourage me, you know, and say, man, like you won these battles, man. You've already won, Randy. Like, you don't even know. But I'll tell you what, man, don't fucking feel like that. I've been in the hospital like fucking a few times, man, in the last few months. I can't get into any fucking treatment programs because I have a phobia of fucking being locked away somewhere where I can't get out of. And I keep trying, man. I try like fucking with everything in me, man. I try. And I pray, man. And I call on people, man. And I'm reaching out to people, and I feel like my life is wrapping up, dude. I keep making videos like these, you know, just because I got so much to say, man, and I feel like, man, it's fucking, like, I'm not gonna make it out of this, man. If I died today, and all I had to say for myself, you know, were those fucking 3 boys and that little girl that God entrusted with me. I'm gonna count that as a W. You know, that's a big W. Coming from where I came from, you know, with all this shit that's happened to me, you know, to raise kids like that, to die a miserable, shitty fucking death that I, you know, probably could have avoided, but to die broken, hopeless, and holding out my arms saying, God, here I am. What's left of me is still all yours. I think he likes that about me. Does that mean I'm gonna go home and fucking kill myself? No. Every time, you know, when I reach out to you and I'm like, fucking, I'm gonna die, like, you know, am I just like making fucking idle threats? Like that. You see those? I just want to put a 44 in my fucking head on Super Bowl many years ago. The Super Bowl that you met fucking your husband. And I pulled the trigger on that. And that's what happens when shrapnel explodes and burns into your fucking skin. Yeah. Some people think they're track marks, right? Those, you see, like, those are track marks. Notice how, like, you know, they're like red and they're like pink, and like these, you know, are different. You know, like those are like, you know, that's flesh that got fucking burned, right? You watched me one time take, you know, what was it, like 40 or 50 fucking prescription strength sleeping pills. I've shot fucking bleach. I've shot fucking full vials of heroin, you know, like, it's clear that, you know, I've been kept alive for a reason, man, and so I'm trying to get as much content out there as I can, because I know that, you know, the end isn't far away, man. I don't think that I'm immortal. I don't think I'm gonna live forever, man, but I mean, like, maybe my purpose, you know, has been fulfilled, man. I hope not, you know. I don't want to die. It wasn't supposed to be like this. You know, it wasn't supposed to go this way at all. Yeah, I thought there was so many more adventures, man. Why'd you fucking take me off that fucking baseball team, man? That was gonna be like the culmination of like Daniel and Dylan's fucking Little League career, man. As they like assistant coach me, you know, and it was gonna be great, man. I made a website, man. I got those jerseys, dude. Like, the reason I kept asking everybody for fucking, like, their jersey size and all that shit was because I was concussed. And every time I would come to, that would be the first thing on my mind. Like, I gotta get fucking jersey size. I got these jerseys ordered, right? And fuck, I had already ordered them. Doesn't look like Ryan and Chad are gonna show up. That doesn't fucking surprise me. I don't know where I can go. I don't know what I can do. You know, I ran myself into the ground with the Suicide Foundation, you know, and shit's been like just destroying me ever since, man. I was talking to my dad about that the other night, and he saw like my fall from grace, man. Like, I love that fucking guy, man. He's seen, you know, he's seen the fight, man. He's seen me struggle, man. He's seen me just, you know, I don't know how to quit. I don't know how to give up, man. You know, and so I'm not gonna give up, man. I'm gonna keep fighting, man. I mean, I'm getting my fucking ass kicked here, man, and you are not fucking helping things, man. At the very least, man, you don't want to be married to me, like, that's fine, man. Like, well, fuck, man, you were supposed to be by my side. You were supposed to carry me. You were supposed to make sure that I didn't fucking lose my mind, man. And I mean, like, you weren't supposed to fucking, like, attack me. I was talking to fucking Jesse Craig for a while, you know, like when you were, you know, going through your shit with Phil, and then he just disappeared. You know, and he got freaked out at that video that, you know, I said when fucking Richie, you know, ran in and tried to attack us, you know. Who knows, man? But I mean, like, everybody's just getting, like, Aaron McKay won't fucking call me back, man. You know, like nobody will even really answer my calls anymore, man. Except for Josh Cox, you know. God bless that, man. Darren Bloomquist. Yeah, I fucking love those guys, man. There's only so much they can do, man. Like, they're not equipped for this, man. There's not a whole lot of people that are equipped for it. There's not a whole lot of people that even know what the fuck I'm talking about half the time, man. I don't even know what I'm fucking talking about half the time, man. But I mean, like, I figure it out, you know, like, and it makes sense. And like, I fucking see things, man, that, like, you know, like, that people just don't see. Like, everything is just so fucking clear to me, you know. Like, and when I read scripture, like, it's just like it just comes alive, and like everything fucking makes sense, dude. And I try to, like, describe this to people, man, and they just think I'm fucking insane, you know. You know, like, when I got the call in to be a pastor, I thought I was gonna be like, you know, like something between, you know, Mike Erie, Rick Warren, and Joel Osteen, but with, like, real theology and shit, you know, like fucking, you know. But I was hoping maybe I could have his teeth, you know, like teeth envy, you know. Nah, I don't even want Joel Osteen's fucking teeth. I'll take these bangers over his pearly whites any day, you know, because fucking, you know, you can't take them with them. But I was like, man, I'm gonna be a pastor. Like, people are gonna like me for the first time, you know, like, you know, it's gonna be all right, you know. And God's just like, Randy, come on, dude, you know, you should have known better than that, you know. You think that I'm gonna, like, take somebody like you that's been through as much shit as you have and just make them like every other fucking pastor? I'm like, huh? Like, what do you mean? He's like, no, man. There's a race of people that have been exterminated. Oh, I guess it's time for the video. Yeah, see, hey, I'm getting off track, and we know this because Chris Tomlin, um, just died. But yeah, man, I see the genocide that the church has created with homosexuals, man. I see just so clearly. I see, if you replace leper and cripple with fucking drug addict and homosexual, you got the exact same church, you know, that Jesus, was against. And you got the exact same people doing the exact same thing, fucking, using the word as a weapon instead of a love story, man. I'm sure you're gonna, use this fucking video against me, right? I don't give a fuck. I have a feeling that, if we go to court for, our kids' custody, you know, in that, I have a feeling that judge is probably going to be a Christian, right? And I have a feeling he's going to be, more willing to, hear what I have to say, you know, some of the things you have to say. I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying, you know, you've been kind of a bitch. You've been more of a bitch. You've been, like that thorn in my side that Paul talks about. 3 times I asked God, 3,000 times I asked God to remove it. And he's like, no, my grace is sufficient for you, Randy. You married her. I was like, fuck. Thanks a lot, God. I don't believe that you're on the outside looking in anymore. I think you're still a young and a baby Christian, and you have a lot to learn. And it's frustrating for me because I'm not that, man. You know, I need you to grow up spiritually, like fast, man, like real fast. I need you to learn how to fucking set your pride aside, man, and look at the bigger picture, man. And just, for the love of God, look at the bigger picture, man. Like, it's me. It's Randy, like, fuck it. I've been to hell and back, man. And I went there for you. Maybe all this shit that, I just said it, like, maybe I'm schizophrenic, man. And maybe it's just like I'm living like one big fucking weird fairy tale in my head. And that's the only thing that I can use to describe all the fucking shit that I've been through, man. But I mean, like, something has got to explain it, man. Somebody's got to fucking explain why my shit's fucked up. Because it is, man. Like, you can't look at my life and say, like, this is normal. Like, no, it's not. Like, nothing about it is normal. The fact that I was, like, homeless and living, grew up in juvenile hall in a one-man cell, and fucking I was running around with a gun, gangbanging, shooting at people, getting shot at, fucking getting held down, getting raped by homeless people, only to get clean, turn my life around, buy a house in the Caribbean with this girl I had a crush on, and get in a car accident on the way home from saying goodbye to my mom, and going to prison for manslaughter anyways. Like, who does that happen to? I'm thankful for the years that we had together, Parisa. I hope to God, that I'm gonna make it. I sent a request, man, to a few people, and I'm like pouring out my heart to people. I'm like, please help, man. Yeah, I said I was gonna go to Starbucks at 5 o'clock, and I'll be there for a few hours, man. Maybe you could, show up. I've been here for a few hours, and nobody's showing up. I refuse to believe that it's my job and my duty, to save myself. I'm trying to save myself, but I mean, like, we weren't meant to save ourselves. We were meant to be in community. We were meant to be, like, with other people. maybe I just gotta find my fucking people, man. Like people who aren't gonna fucking leave me, man. People are gonna stand by me. People are gonna be like, Randy, we got your fucking back, and we're gonna have your back. You know, it pisses me off about the Craigs. It is fucking. That's what they told me. We got your back, Randy. You know, your fucking family. You know, what the fuck are they now? You know, Brian and Chad aren't equipped. You know, to help me with this. They're equipped to do other things. You know, Jesse and Renee are fucking equipped. I mean, like, fucking God knows where the fuck they are. You know, maybe they just think I'm crazy. Maybe they think, you know, like whatever the fuck they think. You know, like, but I mean, from what they know of me and from what they've seen, you know,